How do we explain the fact that some individuals are far more accomplished than others? Let's look at TKS as an example. We have tons of curious teenagers who want to solve the world's biggest problems, but are outliers in their schools, environments. Prior to the program, entered the program, and now they're accomplishing things that most teenagers can't. The key is the right people in the right environments have the ability to do extraordinary things. TCAS students are intentionally selected based on key qualities: the ability to be curious, build projects part of the program, have initiative, a focus on community, etc. These are the characteristics that were looked for in the application process to then curate the best group of talent to provide results to every single student. But in life, we're the selectors. We decide the people that are in our community to then yield our desired results. You're currently selecting all of your friends. Do you think that you're using the right framework to find the right people? See, the relationships that we had when we were young came from a few key sources: our parents and their work friends, common interests in the classroom, or friends that we simply met at a young age. And none of these strategies are sustainable. I believe that there are two ways to look at the friend seeking process: there's finding the best friend, and then there's finding the right friend. Best friends are usually made comfortably. It's based on a commonality, it's based on something related to sports or pop culture, etc. And right friends are people who are providing micro and macro pushes towards your success, constantly improving your ambition and goals. The key difference between the best friend isn't based on a criteria or intentional process, whereas the right friend is based on a deliberate choice. So, how do we find the right friends? Let's use Bensai as a use case, specifically the leadership team. After the co-founding of Bensai, the team had to search for the right talent to build and solidify a great product. They searched for people who elevated the current state of the company, brought novel insights to Bensai, and those who would focus on not only the growth of themselves, but the growth of others. And this criteria yielded 170 plus employees, all intentionally selected. This mental model is the exact same way that we should be looking at making friends. We need to look at finding friends like a CEO because we're all acquiring the right talent to surround ourselves with. Finding friends is exactly like talent acquisition. Similar to Bensai, we all have a criteria for selecting the right people for our lives. Bensai had a criteria to select the right people for the company, and it might not have been the one that I outlined, but there were deliberate reasons for the talent that they acquired. For each of us, our process should be very similar, especially as a group of creators and innovators and other builders. As we continue to learn and progress in our lives, we have to make sure that the quality relationships that we have level us up. Hence, upgrading our friend group and finding the right talent to acquire. I think most, but not all, friendships have an expiration date. Once you reach it, it's time to find the right talent to help you accomplish your next goals. I believe that there are three key questions that we need to be asking ourselves when finding the right friends. The first question being, will this individual increase the average level of thinking in my life? We're all fighting against our past self, against mediocrity and stasis. As our standards continuously increase, we need to find the people that share the same thoughts as us around self improvement, productive fun, and building. Finding people that continuously learn, have interesting conversations, etc., achieve this. Leveling up through a podcast versus Netflix is one of the few ways to look at this question. How are people spending their time? The second question is, along what dimension does this person star in? Product, science, artificial intelligence, or all three? Seeking out multidisciplinary thinkers versus monodisciplinary thinkers is another interesting way to fill your life with unique insights and perspective that upgrade your worldview. Learning through conversation is one of the most popular forms of retention. The more talent with different interests and learnings, the bigger chance for multidisciplinary knowledge. Find people that enrich all sectors: the technology, the art, the culture, etc. The final question is about drivers and intention. I think this question is a great proxy to differentiate between short-term and long-term thinkers. Short-term thinkers are optimizing for finite metrics that usually don't scale, i.e. social media followers, whereas infinite thinkers are doing things that scale and optimize for the long term. For example, helping Bensai solve problems in the clinical trial space. Understanding someone else's metric system gives a great lens into how they live their life, and if you can co-work and co-accomplish with them. This part is the secret to talent finding. Latch onto people who start with why they do what they do versus what they do. But why does this all matter? Well, I think that there are two reasons. There's A, which is we spend a ton of time around other people. I understand we're in COVID, but most times we spend hours and hours with our friends. So we invest all this time into people that we opt to surround ourselves with because these environments impact how we think, how we act, and how we live. And finding the right friends ensure that we make the most productive use of that time. Because the right friends equal the right results, environments can alter our trajectory. TKS, Bensai are all primary examples of this. These environments make us hungry for impact and opportunity, but they're all intentional choices. Finding friends is like talent acquisition. You're constantly searching for enhancers because you are the sum of the people that you spend the most time with. I encourage you all to think like a CEO during your next networking event, friend gathering, etc. As you continue to learn and progress, it's important that you find people that meet you where you're at. And P.S., don't be a stranger. Would love for you guys all to check out zayn.substack.com. Post monthly blogs like this alongside with the newsletter. Check this out for more of my content. Thank you.